Right. So we are doing two webinar presentation on two different tours that the Chamber has booked. One of them is going to Italy on May the 27th of 2026. And the other one is going to Ecuador. And the Ecuador, which is a 7-day trip, has also got an extension, an optional extension to Peru. Should you want to take it, you can also extend yourself and go and see the beautiful Cusco and Machu Picchu from there. So let's talk about our next trip, which is the beautiful Ecuador, and we are gonna go to Quito, which is the capital, and also we're gonna go to the beautiful Galapagos Islands over there. And this tour has also got, a 5-day extension tour, which is optional, which is called the Glimpse of Peru. The itinerary that this is going to cover is San Diego to Quito, Quito to Santa Cruz, which is part of the Galapagos Island, then Isabela, which is also part of the Galapagos Island, back to Santa Cruz, back to Quito, and back to San Diego. That is your 7-day trip. And those people who are extending it, they will then go from Quito and stuff coming back to the United States. They will continue and they will go to Lima, which I'll present to you when I will go to the extension. This trip of, 7 days, beautiful trip, is only $3,199. I'm going on September the 2nd of 2026. September the 2nd of 2026. So this is the second trip that I'm now presenting to you. What I'm going to present to you is some basic information on Ecuador, tour highlights, again, inclusion, exclusion, day 1 to 7, brief narration of Quito and Galapagos Adventure Tour. Plus, I will also explain to you the 5 days Peru extension. Then I will have one slide on who we are in this travel. We'll talk about how to book general information, passport, visa, health, currency, weather, which will be combined for one side Italy and one side Ecuador in order to save everybody's time. So I'll do all this together. And at the end, again, we will take your questions. Any questions that you have, as you can imagine, that we cannot allow in a webinar presentation, the microphones to be open of the attendees, because it brings a lot of unnecessary noise, feedback, and, disturbance to this. So you can see on your screen on the top, you have an area where you can type your questions. So kindly do type your questions, and then either Chris or I, to whomever this question has been addressed to, we will answer your questions. Again, we are presenting to you the Quito and Galapagos Adventure, and you can see it's a beautiful trip and a very, very good price that I have showed you, $31.99 on double occupancy basis. The highlights of this trip is that you're going to spot the giant tortoises endemic to the Galapagos Island in their natural habitat on the Santa Cruz Island. You are going to discover the exotic wildlife of Las Tintorias Islet, such as the Galapagos penguins and the Sally-like crabs. You can have the opportunity of snorkeling amongst the fascinating marine life in Isabela, which is the largest island in the Galapagos. You will explore the Flamingos Lagoon, the largest coastal lagoon in the island, and you will visit Quito, which is the oldest capital in South America and second highest capital city in the world. And also, if you take the extension into Peru, then you will visit Machu Picchu and the beautiful city of Lima, and also, of course, Cusco. This trip, once again, includes round-trip airfares from San Diego, domestic flight from Galapagos, to and from Galapagos Island, that means from Quito. We'll go to Galapagos Islands and then we'll come back. 6 nights accommodation on double occupancy basis at the Superior Hotel. 12 inclusive meals as follows. So you'll have daily buffet breakfast, and then you'll have 3 lunches and 3 dinners at the local restaurants in Galapagos Islands. So you have 12 inclusive meals on this trip, all arrival and departure airport transfers, all transportation in air-conditioned modern vehicles, services of English-speaking guide during the tours, sightseeing as per the detailed itinerary, all entrance fees as per the detailed itinerary, all air taxes, fuel surcharges, and local applicable taxes, except they are a very important part, because there are some special, things and fees that you need to pay, which I'm going to show you on my next slide. So the top part, exclusion is applicable to Italy as well, and to the Ecuador trip also. So anything which is your personal nature, Tips and gratuities are not included. So what is personal nature expenses? For example, if you ordered a room service, if you used the laundry service, or if you have a minibar which is filled and you use something from there, all this is your personal nature expenditures. Your tips and gratuities are not included. If we took these, Lufthansa flights, then your baggage is pretty much included. I'm just playing safe because, airlines are becoming funnier and, more restrictive day by day. So you never know by the time, you travel, there may be a baggage fee applicable for a check-in baggage. But at the present moment, it's included. Travel insurance not included. Optional tours are not included. Any other item which is not under inclusion on there. The Ecuador specific is, and this all belongs to the Galapagos Island because it's controlled. So in Isabella Island entrance fee, which is $10 per person, in all probabilities it will be paid by us, but in case if not, I'm just being again safer side. You will have to pay this. You will have to pay the Galapagos National Park entrance fee, which is $200 per person, and you will pay this upon arrival at the airport in Galapagos. So you must keep your $200 perhaps cash, in order to pay this. And also there's a transit control card, which is $20 per person, which will be paid at the Quito airport before you check in with the airline to go to the Galapagos Island. So this $230 extra charges, which needs to be paid when you are going to Galapagos Island. Some important facts about Quito. It's a high altitude, at 2,850 meters or 9,350 feet. So it's a high altitude, capital, and you need to hydrate yourself in order to avoid any, altitude sickness. It's a historic center of UNESCO listed colonial area with churches, plazas, and cobblestone streets. It has also monument on the equator. That means if you spread your leg on the line, you will be standing on both the hemisphere, the southern and the northern hemisphere in that trip, which is the Intinan Museum. Also, you're gonna visit the Intinan Museum also. It has also got a beautiful telefreak, the cable car, which takes you up to the Pichincha volcano for stunning Andes views at further up from 9,350 feet, approximately another 4,000 feet higher at 13,450 feet. And then also it is very popular for the local cuisine, dishes like the locro de papa, the ceviche, the empanadas, and all that, which is the local delicacies of this place. Some important facts about the Galapagos Island, that it has the unique wildlife. It is home to the endemic specific like the giant tortoises, the marine iguanas, the blue-footed boobies, the best seen on guided tours. It is a protected ecosystem, a UNESCO World Heritage Site and National Park with strict regulations to preserve its biodiversity. And that's why they have all this park fees and everything, because, they keep on spending money in order to protect the biodiversity of the island. And also, these are volcanic islands, over 13 main islands, including Isabella and Santa Cruz, which we are going to go to, formed by volcanic activity offering dramatic landscape. So this is some facts about Galapagos Island. On day one, we are going to take the flight from San Diego to Quito. If there was an non-stop flight, which does not exist, it would have still taken about 9 hours and 20 minutes. The flights come into the system anywhere between 324 days to 360 days before departure. These flights are not yet into system. So what I'm presenting to you are sample flights. We have the right to change this flight, but we looked at some of the connections and we looked at this. We will either give you these flights or we'll try to better them from here. As soon as the flights will come in system, which will happen in the first week, I think on December 8th, the flights will come in the system, then we'll start looking into the flights. But for now, for you to understand that how we're going to go, we're looking at the sample flights. American flight from San Diego to Dallas at 6:15 in the morning, arrives 11:35 into Dallas, At 2:30 in the afternoon, you depart Dallas, you arrive in Miami at 6:25 p.m. And then at 8:40 p.m. from Miami, you depart on an American flight again, 22:59, you arrive at 11:55 p.m. in Quito. Again, like I told you, these are sample flights. When the flights will open to system, we'll try to better them. But this is what we currently have. Again, sample flights between Quito and the Galapagos Island. On 3rd September, we will go on a LATAM airline flight at 10:28 approximately on a flight, which will bring you into the islands at 1 p.m. in the afternoon. And on September the 5th, we will leave the Galapagos Island at 1:35 p.m. back into Quito at 4:31 p.m. Those people who are not taking the extension, you will be taking the, you see, coming back, when we looked at the flight of the current year, not the last year, we found that there are direct flights from Quito to Miami, 6:09 in the morning, 11:29 arrival, but then there is a long gap, between 11:25 until 7:35 p.m. Remember that if we happen to take these flights, the best thing for you, if you wish to do, is to either you can take an airport hotel just next to the airport, on your own and rest, or since your baggage is already checked in, so you will, you clear your customs and baggage, and you will hand over your baggage back to American Airlines. So now you only have your hand luggage. What you can do is you can walk out into Miami and, do whatever you want to do, and you come back in time. You already have your boarding pass. Come back, 1.5 hours before departure, because now you're traveling on a domestic flight. So at 7:35 p.m., your flight from Miami, American 1802, brings you back into San Diego at 9:48 p.m. local time. Again, simple tentative flights. And this is how it looks on the map. From San Diego, of course, this was a nonstop flight, but there's none. So, we will go from here to here, Dallas, from Dallas to Miami, and Miami down to the Quito over here. That's how it's going to be. The flights are going to be. On, like I say, on day 1, we will depart San Diego and arrive in Quito. You will be staying in Quito at the Hampton by Hilton Hotel, which is, again, a 3-star hotel. But honestly, in my personal opinion, all Hampton Inns are much superior than many of our 4-star hotels around. Some of the pictures, one of the bedroom over here, the external building in Quito, the reception area, the indoor swimming pool. It's a beautiful hotel, again, in the downtown, and it has earned itself a 4.2 out of 5-star from 300 Google reviews. So this is going to be your home on day 1. And when you return back from Galapagos, it's going to be your home again on day 5 and on day 6. So this is going to be a home for 3 nights accommodation at the Hampton Inn. On day 2, we will have the breakfast, and we will take a flight, and we will take the flight from Quito to Santa Cruz, which is Galapagos Island. And we will actually be going from Quito to the Baltra Island. And upon arrival, you'll be seen off by your guide. And upon arrival at the island, you will be met by the guide, and you will be transferred to your hotel in Santa Cruz Island, which will be by boat. Afternoon tour of the highlands, and you will also have here the opportunity to see the giant tortoises in the wild. You will have the lunch in the highlands, and then your hotel check-in at the Puerto Ayora, and your overnight will be in Santa Cruz. Your hotel on day 2 and day 4, mind you, day 2 and day 4. Day 3, we are not in Santa Cruz. In this trip, remember, there is a lot of travel included, and you cannot do Galapagos Islands unless if you did, if you did a cruise, which was not cheap. By traveling by cruise, that means your hotel travels to all these island stuff. Taking the boats and taking the flights, that's another possibility, but that tour would have been at least $1,500 more expensive than what we presented to you. So we've prepared that this trip of the Quito and Galapagos is meant for the people who are looking for this unique experience and the adventure. So there will be a lot of travel involved, so be prepared for that. So you will stay the night of day 2 in the hotel Silverstein in Santa Cruz. Again, it's a 4-star hotel, 4.2 rating in Google. Beautiful hotel, as you can see. External, one of the bedroom and the breakfast area over here. And then you will go to another place, which is Isabela, for day 3, and come back on day 4 again, sleep in the same hotel. On day 3, remember that when you are at these islands, all your 3 meals are included. So you'll have breakfast, lunches, and dinner included in the island. On day 3, we will go from Galapagos Island to Galapagos, from Isabel Island, speedboat to Isabel Island. And, we will first go to the short ride to the Tintorras Islet, where you will have the wildlife sightseeing like the sea lions, the marine iguanas, the blue-footed boobies, the penguins, and the turtles, and all that. Some of these pictures that I have included over here for you to see. Beautiful, beautiful experience. You will have a guided hike on the islet. You will have the snorkeling with colorful fish, sharks, sea lions, and possibly manta rays also. And you will be provided with the mask and everything else. And somebody wants to use a wetsuit, if you think the water is the water is not suitable, then you can also rent the wetsuit over there in order to do this trip. This is one of the best snorkeling you can do. I have done snorkeling in the Red Sea. I have done snorkeling in Malaysia. There is a Tunku Abdul Rahman Park, which is the 3rd best. I have not done snorkeling, though I have been there in Australia, at the Great Barrier Reef, which is the best snorkeling and diving is actually Red Sea, followed by the Australian thing. And then number 3 comes this place over here. And then number 4, there is a place in Malaysia, which is called the Tunku Abdul Rahman Park, So it's a beautiful place that you're gonna spend one night over here. Your one-night hotel at the Isabela Island is called Izama Hotel. Again, 3-star hotel. We have very limited hotels over here. This is how the hotel looks, but it's a very clean and beautiful hotel, as you can see from the pictures over here. External, right on the beach, one of the bedroom, one of the swimming pool up here, and things like that. 4.6 out of 5-star rating with the Google for this particular hotel. Your stay for one night in this hotel. On day 4, we will visit the Flamingo Lagoon, the largest coastal lagoon in the Galapagos Islands. You will walk along a scenic 2-kilometer trail showcasing Isabela's geology and the vegetation. And then you will visit the tortoise breeding center. Hatchlings to adult tortoises, all that experience you will have. And afternoon, you will return by boat to Santa Cruz. And then you will do your overnight back into Santa Cruz in the hotel that I showed you. Again, some of the pictures, the tortoise breeding center, the Santa Cruz Island overall, and the Flamingo Lagoon, some of the pictures that I'm showing you over here. On the same day, you can also, do an optional tour of the tunnels. Unfortunately, if we had time, we wanted you to do both this and that, because this also is an absolutely stunning thing that you can do, which is called the tunnels on, $199 per person. Remember that this tour must be booked in advance. It cannot be booked locally upon arrival. And you will have to skip visiting the Flamingo Lagoon and the Tortoise Breeding Center in order to do that. It's a very difficult choice. If you ask me, I want to do both. So I will leave this to you, what you want to do. You want to take this one, or you want to continue with the Flamingo Lagoon and the breeding center. You can choose. But if you want to do this, remember that you will take a boat trip to the Lost Tunnels, a unique lava farm marine labyrinth. You will snorkel amongst the sharks, the penguin, the sea lions, the turtles, and other endemic species. And you'll have a chance to spot the giant manta rays. You will have snack and box lunch included in this particular trip. On day 5, we'll take the flight back from Galapagos Island to Quito. You will be transferred to the airport for the flight back to Quito. You will arrive, then you will be received by your guide again. Remember, your guide is not traveling. Every local place, you have a guide who will receive you. Then it's a goodbye. When you sit in the flight, when you arrive back in Quito, the same guide who received you on day one, he will come, he'll take you, transfer you to the hotel, and then you have evening and leisure in the Ecuador's historic capital. Again, some of the pictures of the Ecuador, of the Quito city over here. Beautiful city. Like I said, the oldest capital in South America. On day 6, you will take the guided tour of the Quito's colonial district. You will visit the Plaza de la Independencia, the cathedral, the presidential palace. You'll explore the historic churches and the picturesque streets. And you will also have the panoramic city views from the Panchelo Hill. And then you will return back to your hotel in order to rest and have the rest of the afternoon at leisure. On day 6, you also have, for $90 per person, the middle of the world tour on private basis, which is $90 per person. And we need minimum 2 people to book this. What does this trip do is that it will take you to the equatorial monument at the equator line. So see this picture over here. This is the southern hemisphere. This is the northern hemisphere. And this line over here that divides the hemisphere into north and south. So if you put your one leg on this side and one on that, that's north and that's southern hemisphere here. So that is a beautiful trip that you can take, equatorial mountain, the middle of the world tour. You will explore in this tour the Inti Solar Museum with interactive exhibits. And you will also, okay, these are the same pictures of the same solar museum that I'm showing you. $90, very highly recommended that you should do this trip. On day 7, those people who are not going to Peru, they will take this flight at 6 or 9 in the morning. Again, remember tentative sample flights, 11:29 into Miami, and then a long haul. And then at 7:35, you'll take the flight back from Miami to San Diego. We already spoke about it. Those people who are going on the, the extension trip to Peru, you will have, and we need minimum 10 people to operate this. You will have a regional flight from Quito to Cusco. You will have a domestic flight from Cusco to Lima. And then you have 4 nights accommodation on double occupancy basis, daily buffet breakfast at the hotel, arrival and departure airport transfer, transportation, air-conditioned vehicles, services of English-speaking guide during the tours, sightseeing as per the detailed itinerary, all entrance fees, air taxes, fuel surcharges, and local applicable taxes. Again, on day 1, we will, the rest of the people will, those who are not going there, they are going to go back to the United States, back to San Diego. Those who are going to Peru, they will go from Quito to Lima and take immediately transfer connection from Lima to, let me explain that in the next one, in the next trip. So you will take a transfer connection at Lima, and you will arrive into the Cusco, which with the snow-capped Andes Mountains area in Cusco. Again, tentative flights from Quito to Lima at 12:15 p.m., arriving at 2:30 p.m. in the afternoon. 2 hours, you have a connection from Lima to Cusco, and you arrive at 5:55 p.m. into Cusco. A return flight from Cusco to Lima on September the 8th will be at on the 10th September. So these are your flights, again, that are tentatively booked. And here is how it looks. So you will be in Quito. You're going further south, to Lima. From Lima, you're taking in, domestic flight going to Cusco. And then you will come back from Cusco back to Lima. You'll stop in Lima. And then from Lima, we'll take an international flight back into the United States, which I'll show you. The hotel that you're staying in Cusco for 2 nights is Sonesta Hotel, which will be on day 1 and day 2. It's a 4-star hotel. 2,000 Google reviews puts it at 4.6 out of 5, which is more than excellent. Here are some of the pictures of the hotel over here. External, one of the bedrooms, the breakfast area, the outside over here, and things like that. On day 2, we will go from Cusco on a day trip to Machu Picchu, which is the highlight of this trip. And we will take the transfer to the Ollantaytambo rail station from your hotel. Then we will sit in a rail and we will go through the Sacred Valley, which is an expedition trade to the Aguas Clientele, and then we'll take, from there another coach or a bus trip to Machu Picchu. So you sit in a coach, arrive at the Ollantaytambo rail station, take the rail, which takes quite 2.5, 3 hours until you arrive at the Aguas Calientes, and from there you take a short, a ride, which is all organized by the government. So there are hundreds of buses which are going, in a queue. People come and stand, and you sit on those buses. These are not operated by outsiders. These are operated by the POC, by the Machu Picchu authorities over there. And then you arrive in Machu Picchu, which is the lost cities of the Incas. You will have guided tour exploring the site's history, terraces, and temples. And then in the afternoon, you will again return by train back to Ollantaytambo station, and then you'll be transferred back to Cusco for your overnight stay. You can upgrade your train to a Vista Dome, which looks like that. So normal train, you will not have, the Vista Dome on the top, but you will have large windows on the side. But if you want to pay an extra for a round trip, $95 per person, and you can be upgraded to the Vista Dome train service over here. Here are some of the pictures. This is the station from where you take the coach up to the Machu Picchu. This is the picture of the Machu Picchu. This is the Sacred Valley through which, the train passes. And this is one of the Vista Dome's picture of the train over here. That is the highlight of the trip. On day 3, you will go from Cusco to Lima. You will transfer to Cusco Airport, and you will fly back to Lima, which is at the sea level. You will meet a local guide upon arrival. You'll be transferred to the hotel, and your afternoon and evening is at leisure in Peru's capital. Beautiful city, as you can see over here. One of my most favorite in South America or Latin America. The hotel that you're going to stay for 2 nights is actually a 5-star hotel. It's Crown Plaza 5-star Hotel Lima, and it has earned itself again a 4.4 out of 5-star rating on Google. And you can see some of the pictures, the external hotel, the indoor swimming pool, and the hotel. It's a beautiful hotel. You're going to enjoy this hotel 2 nights stay over there. On the evening of the same day when you arrive, there is an optional experience, which is called the Experience Lima, which is an evening at the Larco Museum with dinner. So dinner is included. Minimum, again, 10 persons are required. No, 6 people are required in order to operate this trip. So it's a private visit to the Larco Museum, where you will view the ancient ceramics, jewelry, and artifacts from the multiple civilization. You will have a gourmet dinner in the museum's garden restaurant, and also it includes the pisco sour, the regional dishes, and guided cultural insight. That is on day 3 that you can do. On day 4, we will actually do, a city tour of Lima. And again, some of the sites over here, the main square, the San Francisco Convent, the Casa Aliaga, and the City Hall. So we're going to do the tour of the Lima city on day 4. And then you'll come back to your hotel, your afternoon free on day 5, which is actually day 11 for the people who are doing the extension tour. You will take a flight back from Lima to San Diego. Again, a sample or a tentative flight. If we took this, we will be departing on September the 12th on an American Airlines at 6:55 in the morning, brings you in Miami at 1:55 p.m. 5:38 p.m. you take a flight from Miami to Phoenix, which brings you in Phoenix local time 7:27, and excellent connection under 1 hour from Phoenix at 8:20, which brings you back at 9:32 p.m. back into San Diego. That's your return flight. And that ends our tour, including the extension tour of Ecuador. And then in Ecuador, the currency that you have is US dollars. So there's nothing to talk about. Since 2000, and we are now in 2024, 25, and you're going to go there in 2026. So for 26 years, Ecuador uses United States dollars. So there's nothing to talk about. In September average in Quito, Cusco, and Lima is as follows. Quito has got, remember, it's at high altitude, 55 degrees average. So, since you are from Southern California, I'm not sure, some of you may require to take at least a light jacket in Quito. 55 an average, high of 64, and in the night it can go down to 46 also. Cusco, the temperature, Cusco is also, by the way, high, altitude, almost similar to Quito, 52, 66, 37 in the low temperature, which is very, very low. As a matter of fact, Cusco is much higher than Quito. Quito is about 9,300. This is 10,004 or 700, something like this. Can't remember. Lima is at the sea level, so that temperature is 64, a high of 68, and again a low temperature of 59. Galapagos Island, is you are going in one of the driest months of the year, so you will have cool and dry season offering comfortable temperatures between 67 and 80 degrees. In centigrades between 19 and 27. But in spite of the temperature being very cold, we very highly recommend that you do take sun protection, because you are doing a lot of activities which will be in the sun. So you will require sun protection. And please do remember, we always do a pre-departure meeting. So we'll do one for Italy and one for Ecuador. And during that meeting, I'll speak about, what to expect, and, more information like, what is required for you to take. In Ecuador, again, there is nothing to worry about the electricity, because like the currency, the electricity is also 120 voltage, which is same as us. Plug system is exactly ours. So, you do not have any problem. The language, major language in Ecuador is Spanish, which is the Castilian, dialect. And then the time difference is same time as the Washington, D.C. during the standard time. And remember that Ecuador has got 2 time zones. So including Galapagos Island is, 1 hour further minus from what you will have in Quito. The water, we very highly recommend that you go and opt for the bottled water when you are in Ecuador, and water is that cheap. And you must have some local currency, US dollars. You do not need any currency, and you can buy your water. And we are a group tour company. We do a variety of group tours, but more than 20% of our business is chamber trips. We did 243 chamber trips in 2024, and 2024, and in 2025 is going to exceed that. So we do more than 20% of our business in the group tours with the chambers of commerce, privately owned, independent business. Therefore, a lot of decisions come quick. For example, one of you wants to be upgraded to business class. Your dedicated tour consultant, there's different tour consultants. There's Natalia for Italy, and there is an Aditya, who is doing your Ecuador. We will share the information a bit later. You have an expert advice from a very knowledgeable team. We are 24 years in business, of which we are doing 15 years the chamber travel. Genuine industry recognized consumer protection, A+ rating on BBB, and also, a Google independent partner is doing who does the reviews on us, which can go up and down, but we are holding on to anywhere between 4.6 to 4.8 out of the 5-star rating, which gives us the excellent rating on them. How you book is actually online. I will what has happened is actually I did not have time to change this. So this is showing a different tour with Macomb Area Chamber, but this is how your first page of the booking looks. So please ignore, I did not have time because this was a long 70 slides presentation and I was busy, so I couldn't do it. But your page will look like this. You can have an overview. When you click on the price and dates, you can go to price and dates, and you can go ahead and book now. If you have traveled with us in past, your same login will work. When you want to go and log in. If you want to create one, then you'll have to create a login with a unique password, which will be known to you. And this particular thing has got beautiful, all the information. So if you click on price and date, it will give you the price. Itinerary will give you day by day itinerary. It will show you the pictures of all the accommodation in Italy and in Ecuador and in Peru. For example, a lot of destination, related information like, how to tip, what to buy, local expectations and all that you can look. So it's a beautiful thing that you can do over here. And my apologies again, I'm sorry I could not bring it to the one. And once you go to a couple of pages, you will be able to see, the full details of the tour. You will be able to, enter your personal details, name, date of birth, passport, and you need to pay $500 deposit, like I told you, for your Italy trip in order to hold your space, and your final payment will come due on January the 27th, not June 25th, January the 27th of next year, which is approximately 2 months away from now. When your final payment, 2.5 months away from that. Your dedicated consultant head office is Natalia. That's her email address, and that's her toll-free number with an extension 828. I'm going to give a deck of this presentation. First of all, this is being recorded, so all of you attending, you will have a link to the recording. Plus, I'm going to share the deck of this presentation, and I'll correct this before I give this deck to Chris, and then he will share this deck of the presentation in PDF format also with you. Your passport must be valid for both the places at least for 6 months. There are no visa required as of today to both the places, but we are anticipating that Europe, by the time you travel, we were expecting it to happen this year, that they will bring an electronic travel authority requirement, like UK has already implemented it. But whenever it comes through, we will let you know. And remember, it will be something which is done online, doesn't take you more than 5 minutes, and it will never exceed more than $10. I expect anywhere between $6 to $8, but the maximum that it will cost you perhaps will be $10 for the visa, and happens in 5 minutes. If it happens, we'll let you know. Travel insurance is not essential, not necessary for you to travel, but we very highly recommend that you buy travel insurance. And when you will make your bookings online, as a matter of fact, the travel insurance will appear on your screen, and you have the option to accept it or not accept it. One thing, what is a travel insurance? Travel insurance is something whereby once you start traveling, and if your baggage is delayed, or if your baggage is lost, or at the destination you need to visit a pharmacy, a doctor, or God forbid, a hospital, all that is included in travel insurance. What we have is called trip interruption and trip cancellation. What does that mean? Is that, for example, a couple of days before departure, somebody, breaks his arm, or somebody's immediate family, falls ill, somebody who's covered under the rules, and this person is unable to travel, minus your premium, the rest of the money will be reimbursed back to you. But remember that trip interruption can only be booked within 14 days of you making a booking. After 14 days, trip interruption is not applicable, not with us and not with anybody. Reason? Insurance companies are the smartest companies on the face of the earth. So somebody develops something and finds out that he or she is not able to travel 2 months down the line, and then they book the trip interruption, is something they do not accept. So when you are making the booking, it's up to you whether you want to buy it from us or you buy it for someone else. We highly recommend that you have a travel insurance and include your trip interruption. Ours does include. There are no health concerns in both the countries whatsoever. And in order to save the time, I will just say that for both the groups, and we have done this in the past, we recommend that you create a WhatsApp group where you have everybody who's going on the trip. That's at the end when I'll do a pre-departure meeting. And also we'll include your guides, your drivers, your local guide, your escort, everybody's number, so that everybody can message everybody and call, make free calls to each other. You can even make free calls back home, including video calls. If you're standing at a beautiful site somewhere in Italy, you can, if you have Wi-Fi or whatever, you can put the phone on and you can show the pictures back to your, to your family back in the United States. If we took those flights, the Lufthansa to Italy and the Americans to Ecuador, you will be allowed 23 pieces of, checked-in luggage, one, carry-on, and one personal item, which can be a small laptop or a lady's purse, for example. If you got yourself, upgraded to a higher category like a business or premium economy, then of course you